upcycle all of it, and I can release everything that I've been holding in my own personal trash can throughout my whole life. And it was this journey that was these pops of color that would come in, and it would show me a way through the pain, and that the pain that I was living in at 41 when we started this, really understood this journey. It showed me that it wasn't just the box that fell on my head and crushed my cervical spine. It wasn't the physical pain of that. I was holding on to anything and everything that's ever happened to me. And I was so gifted at giving away forgiveness to everyone, but I didn't know how to forgive myself. And every time I tried to associate forgiveness to my journey, I would come up to blank walls. And I felt like I was right back into my trash can. And then it started to show me that there's a journey beyond that. It was a journey that I had to forgive myself. And I had to let go for everything that I was holding on to. And it was everything in my trash can for me, it was 4 years old and beyond. And as we learned and pillow researched, we realized there's gestational trauma that we all have in our belly backpacks that become our trash cans. So how we started and what it showed me, and I was guided. I've been trying to put all of this into a way to help others, a pathway. And because I don't have the use of my hands, things are everything I do social media wise is voice notes. So I have thousands, literally thousands of voice notes. And then another way to capture is through taking pictures. And so I would snap a picture of anything I wanted to remember about this journey. And then the other way was journaling through voice. So I had all these different methods. And over the last 4 years, I'm now trying to go and sift through them all to figure out how do we simplify it? Because it took us 4 years to get to rapid. How do we simplify it so I can gift this rapid self-forgiveness and this frequency of feargiveness? And every time I would try to give it out, it just wasn't ready yet. And it wasn't until going through the process of being an Akashic record reader, where I could see all the colors of the universe and the 12 dimensions that we live within, and how all of this energy and healing connects back to our chakras. And that when we have stuck emotions within, and that could be anything from our trash can of traumas and insecurities, and until we upcycle those, we will continue to recycle these traumas within our life. And the Akashic record showed me that it wasn't just this life, it was our past lives that we are recycling all of this hurt and suffering and pain. And it showed me that I was strong enough that if I wanted to heal myself, I could also heal those that came before me. And it would give me a pathway to heal those who come after, and all of the children. And so I felt this pull to color my family tree. And I was given these rapid ways to self-forgive. And the first stage was I wrote my eulogy. I was dying. It was part of the decline of my injury. And 4 years ago, I had a heart attack. But this heart attack came 4 months after my father-in-law passed away. And he was a beautiful energy portal of unconditional love. I see that now. And when he passed away, I was given gifts of how to find his will and all of his paperwork. And he would send me messages, and I thought I was going crazy. But they would guide us where we needed to go. So I just surrendered. And until he was laid to rest, I felt this flow of energy pulsing through me And I followed every single word that I was provided, and it helped the family, and it showed me exactly what to do with this home. And so I just kept following these pops of color. But I didn't know that we both knew that we were both kind of headed towards heaven at the same time. I just didn't know that he would go first, and in his passing, he would raise me up to stay. Even though I had a heart attack, the heart attack was more of a wake-up call. Like, come on, you've got to listen to these voices and these gifts that you've been given, to really see. We spent 2 years on palliative care in darkness, and there was no succession plan off palliative care. And so when we were writing our eulogy, it told us to tell the world now. Tell these people now that you love them. And it was gratitude that elevated truth. And I found one of the messages, and I thought this journey started in 2018 with a heart attack, but we first recorded our first pain peak where we were speaking and channeling these messages. And it was in July of 2017. And this was before my father-in-law passed away, but I knew I was dying. And it was a tough time. So once we got through that, and I was told everyone now, hello, Imard, welcome. I'm just flowing through this frequency of forgiveness. I would love for you to join me on stage if you would like. I was guided to share how we can get to rapid self-forgiveness. And I promise I won't go too deep into my trash can. I want to give you guys the gifts and flow this through you. So please join me if you can. If not, I welcome you softly on this pillow and enjoy. Hopefully, just tap in. I'm not going to say hopefully, live it. I want you to live this and feel the frequency of love and unconditional joy that this forgiveness journey, if you decide to start your own, can really provide you. So after we told them now, and we realized that gratitude elevated truth, and that was our get. It was our get moment, and we just got grateful for everything. And it showed me how to use this gratitude. And so for months, we sat in just gratitude. And I see now that we just voiced our gratitude, and we shared the gratitude for our children and having a young family. My husband and I celebrate 25 years in December, and our children are adulting, 25 and 21. And so this gratitude that I sat in, I just started sharing. And this is where I met my inner child. It was a pop of color where I was sitting in these moments of pain, but I would meet these beautiful spirits that would come through, and they would show me my life. And at first it was really overwhelming. There would be so many of them coming at once. And I really just had to say, stop, one at a time. And then I was gifted this beautiful blue being that kind of funneled everything through. And these inner children would come and share their story with me. It would share their trash can, and I would get to ask questions, and it would light a pop of color. And my inner child would show me that we used to write poetry before we were sexually assaulted at 6. And that we used to sing. We sang high soprano in choir before we were sexually assaulted at 11. And it showed this trash can of trauma and insecurities. And it showed me when we closed it off at 17. And then it showed me the divorce that my family went through at 4, and the identity crisis that this child had. And all of these inner children would come. And so I didn't know what to do with them. So what we would do is we would I would just voice out everything they were sharing with me, and I would voice record it, and then I would listen back to it. And then I would understand that I was having a conversation with my inner child, my 4-year-old, in her identity crisis. And it was just this moment where it was kind of a jam session, is what it turned into be. We would journal it out and voice out everything that would be coming from her. And then I would be able to respond as an adult and understand and really listen and respond to her. And kind of, I didn't know I was reparenting. I was just like, oh my gosh, and what the F, and just listening and living through all of this with her. And I realized that I was in my own trash can. And it was these pivotal, beautiful moments of color that I would get clarity and truth. And it would just be this gut feeling of just knowing of everything that happened to her. And it would be details that a 3-year-old wouldn't have, or gestational trauma and what was brought. She showed me everything. Every single age would come forth. And it was these moments of healing because we would journal and voice it out. And while we were voicing it out, there would always be music playing in the background. And this is where our jam sessions would come in, because the music would be saying exactly the words that my inner child needed to get out, or a guide needed me to hear. And I didn't recognize it until listening to it back, is that every single song I was guided to healing. And then I was guided to these like beautiful releases where I would be with an inner child, and they would explain to me that I wasn't alone then. I had my brothers and sisters were here, and they would show me gratitude. And so I would sit in a poor me moment, if maybe it was trauma or insecurity. A lot of the insecurities, there were aha moments for me, but they would show me gratitude, and they would really get me grateful about that moment. And it would change the narrative, and it would change the color, and it would upcycle that insecurity, that shame and blame, or that trauma for me. In the beginning, I was guided to boomerang the really tough traumas because we didn't understand about it. I didn't know what I was doing. I just was guided that I had 3 boomerangs to use. One was my gratitude boomerang, and the more I gratitude and boomeranged that out in the universe, whatever was given would come back to me in love and light and abundance, and exactly what I needed. So I would sit in gratitude for months. I would just gratitude boomerang out all of this. And then I was given it actually guided me to an I am list, to create an I am list. And it was everything I am. And therapy, this was a pivotal thing. Therapy showed me I am these things, but it didn't necessarily teach me, or I had too many fears blocking the ability to heal from them because I hadn't forgiven myself for holding on to all that trauma. And so once I had this I am list of everything that I was, and it was a pretty aggressive list. And then I had to go back to that list with gratitude, and I had to upcycle everything that I was. And it was more like I heard myself. It's like, I am these things. And I would ask a question. I am these things. I am this. And then I would get this response, I am. And it was confidence, and it was this energy and flow that would straighten my shoulders, and it would change everything for me. And it was, I am. Oh my goodness, I am these things. And that changed this list. And so we started there. And when we got to the darker I ams that held color, that held darker colors. So we had this I am list. Then each I am had a color. When I would say the I ams, and the first it was a question, and then it was a confidence, it was a statement. And when I had those statements, the statement would be a color instantly. And whatever that color was, I connected it to that emotion, to that statement, to that feeling, to that I am. And then this whole list was a rainbow of color. And then what do I do with the color? What do I do with all of this? I am it. I now know confidently each one is colored, coded. And then how do I change the color? Like, how do I fix these things? Because some of those colors made me sick to my stomach and want to curl up into a ball and not leave my pillow, not get up, not get grateful, nothing. So as this list now had color, and with those darker colors, we were given a boomerang, and we were shown two boomerangs at the time. One is the boomerang that we all know and love, that returns back to you. And it is sacred geometry, really, the way that it's done and how it is built. And when you throw it out, it comes back to you. And it really flows in a figure 8. And it showed me that was our gratitude boomerang, our get boomerang. And then it showed me this hunter boomerang, and that a hunter boomerang is where it is built with such sturdiness, and it is taught to be thrown with such force that it is to strike its prey and kill. And that the hunter goes out to the boomerang and it picks up that kill, and that uses it to strengthen and nourish and replenish their body. And the only time they get that boomerang back is when they seek it out. And so it showed me that these gratitude boomerangs we could just force out there and they will continue to come back to us. That really changed the reconditioning of my mind, I see now, in colors and gratitude. But these darker ones, these darker colors that were on this list in this rainbow, I was shown that I needed to hunter boomerang those. And I was going to throw them out there with such force once I released them. And that's when we journaled. We had journaled them out when my inner child had come to me in my trash can truths. And we had journaled it out. So we knew what it was. And we were, I am those things. But we were not ready to know how to heal from them. So we would hunter boomerang things out. And it was very interesting how I was guided to voice it all out. And I didn't do a whole lot of edits with these. I would voice it out, and then I would, my boomerang would be, I would post it on Facebook. And I didn't have Facebook at the time very much. I lived horizontally and I had really no social media. But I would send out these hunter boomerangs. And the first one that was sent out is the last letter to my father. The next one was skeletons in the closet of my childhood, like my Pandora's box. And when we hunter boomeranged these out, we shared the story. We shared their story. And the inner child, it was in those releases that we were gifted feargiveness and gifted forgiveness for getting it out there and releasing it to the world. And we said we would come back to those hunter boomerangs. And we did. It took a while to get there, but it took us on a journey where we needed to start smaller. And every inner child has shown up over the course of the last few years. Before there was Clubhouse, before we had any way to share their story, we did it alone in our trash can and documenting it through jam sessions. So the jam sessions of how you can release these is to really first you create your own I am, your list of I ams. And with each one, as you ask that question and gain the confidence of I am these things, you may or may not get a color. But if you do, it allows you to use those colors a little bit later on. But as you create your I am list, it allows you to see what in your trash can that you need to go back and upcycle and find gratitude or change the narrative of. And anything and everything that's ever happened to you can be upcycled. And where before this process would take months to sift through all the information, the frequencies that are available to us right now as it is pouring into the earth, as we can tap into this forgiveness frequency individually and start this journey of forgiveness. Because what we are doing every time we forgive ourselves and forgive a fear or forgiveness, and you tap into the frequency of understanding that fear down to its own color and how to upcycle, change the narrative, how to get grateful, and to really find a way to activate forgiveness on those things, you can release all of that trash from your trauma and all that trauma from your trash can. And you can clear out any clutter. And every time you clear out clutter and let it go and boomerang out all of that, and that's a beautiful bird boomerang when we're done with it, you will be able to move forward and be lighter. And when you're lighter, when you've released those lower vibrations, your colors and your energy and your frequency will change. Your rainbow changes. And this isn't something that you pay for. This isn't something that you have to seek out a professional to do. This is your journey. And all you have to do is to open your heart, mind, soul to know that you are energy, and healing can happen inside, outside, upside, downside when you tap into your own fears and you release them. You forgive yourself for holding on to them. You forgive yourself for even having the fears to begin with. And once those are gone and they bird away and they flutter, you're going to be able to see your life in a bird's eye view and to really look at where your gratitude spots are and where your other hot spots are of color that you want to upcycle, get grateful, and change the narrative on. It's telling me to tell you about what a day looks like. What's today? I'm going to tell you what I did today. Okay. Whew. So first you have to change the color. You have to put your rainbow on repeat. And how do you put your rainbow on repeat? How do you get connected with color? You really, oh, there's a beautiful black crow that has just landed outside the window. My council of crow. They always tell me which direction to go, and it's so beautiful. Oh, so when I put my rainbow on repeat the first thing in the morning, I won't bore you with the details of going to the bathroom, tiptoeing to the bathroom and stuff. But the first thing that I do is I know that our phones are our first energy portal of the day. Usually everyone's either checking their phone, turning off their alarm if their alarm's on their phone. So it was to make sure that the home screen on my phone brings me joy and it has color in it. And mine just recently changed to something really special, and I'm going to keep that one to myself at the moment. But it is my first connection to color, and it sets a tone. And so once I open my phone screen, we're going to back up. The first thing I do, regardless, it's so common, I don't realize it, but I drink 11 sips of water, and I take a straw. I have my water bottle right here, and this has probably already been filled up 2 or 3 times today. I drink this for 11 seconds, and within 11 minutes, I know that we are moving, flowing, and supporting all of our organs. And so then once I grab my phone, that phone screen, I really bypass anything else that's on it, and I go to an I Am app. It didn't used to be an I Am app. That is just in the last year or so I found it, and I love it. So it's worth it. But before the I Am app, it was this happy jar. So my best friend gave this to me, and she made it, and it's full of colors. And so I still use it. I know I'm missing a few colors, but I'm wrapping them back up because September is almost over. And I go through and I read them. And each time I do, it gives new energy to it. And these aren't always kid appropriate, pretty fun ones that are in here that make me laugh. And so this is where really what it started. And I would get up and I would grab this and I would open it, read them, pick a few colors, and it just kind of got me started. And then it would move on to mirror work. And I would do a lot of the IMs in mirror work. So today, I'm the happy jar. When I go to the window and I start my morning meditation, the happy jar's there. So I drink my 11 sips of water. I do my I Am list, and then I'm really flowing into my pain peak or my drain by then, and I'm just catching the drain. If I can turn on an I Am or any type of music, I'll do Reiki music recently. And I usually will drain until the sun rises. And so that's usually my first out of bed. And so if the sun is rising, I will try to make it out there in time for it and stand with my feet flat on the ground, on Mother Earth. And that's usually the perfect time for all the morning birds. They all are flying in. So our Council of Crows. I have a visitor, so it's going to be a minute. The morning sunrise meditation is just a beautiful clearing and connection of the day. It sets an intention. It allows energy to flow. It's really clearing and cleansing. And for me, it's a brown cloak. You just kind of get rid of lower vibrations that you picked up overnight from the day before. And I do this in the morning and at night. So it gives me a great clearing offset. And then I can stay really conscious throughout the rest of the day. And it seems to really help. So I didn't want to, I felt guided to pull back into that moment, to know how special when you stand in the central sun in the morning, when it's safe to look at it and absorb those energies, you get to see its true colors shine through. And it turns bright white throughout the day as it's above you. And you really need to stay protected from it. But finding ways to stay within the shadows, but sit within it, to connect to the energy that's pouring down above, is where I love to find the space to be able to do that. I would normally have my neck brace on, but they have been guiding me to try and strengthen without it. So and this is kind of where all the magic happens, because I will do my drain here, throw all my rags down, do a recycle of rags. And then I have, just notes that I'm just trying to transfer and create kind of steps for others. It's kind of a voice smorgasbord that we're trying to get through. And then just taking the moments to connect with color. And so between the I ams and these beautiful happy jar of color, you really want to focus on the I am, the affirmations, and that's the biggest part. I would get it out and journal it with myself and my inner child and my trash can. And then I will really write it out. Any of the I ams and affirmations that came out of that journaling, and connect with the music that goes with it, meditate on it. Muscle movement. There's so many more to the jam session that I look forward to sharing with you as we move forward. But that is it for me. My voice is gone. There won't be much more. So I appreciate you guys being here. I will learn ways to be able to do this with a little bit more interaction as we move forward. Have a wonderful day. I hope you can connect with the Feargiveness Frequency on your own journey. And if you need any help, I am here to help you facilitate as a vessel to help you flow into and through your own Feargiveness journey of self-forgiveness. You are love, you are light, and you are Feargiveness. Have a wonderful day.